Anxiety is a mental health disorder that affects all different age groups, but is more common in young children. My two older siblings and I have never really been targeted by anxiety as much as my younger sister has. I have noticed how anxiety affects her whenever it comes to going on long road trips, when she has to visit the dentist, or even whenever she has to wake up early in the morning to go to school. Her form of anxiety is very ordinary, but it doesn't necessarily interfere with her everyday lifestyle as much. However, I do notice that she has this consistent feeling of anxiety, and it is very unpleasant for her, which is why it is important to know that there are different kinds of anxiety disorders along with their causes and symptoms, and that is what I'm going to inform you of today. To begin with, anxiety is our body's natural response to stress. There are many different kinds of anxiety disorders that can only be diagnosed by a doctor if they have severely intervened with our ability to function properly. One disorder is generalized anxiety disorder. A person with this disorder have trouble performing their daily activities. They're worried with a focus on job responsibilities, doctor appointments, or even family drama. Another disorder would be called social anxiety disorder, which is whenever a person has a major discomfort whenever it comes to social interactions. This person has a very big fear to be embarrassed, rejected, or looked down upon in public. Also, a person has a major trouble when it comes to public speaking or meeting new people. Having a specific phobia is also considered having an anxiety disorder. People with specific phobias have trouble overcoming them. Specific phobias would be like fear of heights, fear of plane rides, or fear of snakes. According to the American Psychiatric Association, the percentage of US adults with a specific phobia is 7 to 9%. According to this visual, it shows us the top 5 anxiety disorders. At the very top, we see that specific phobia is in the lead with 12.5%, and then right after it we have a social phobia, which is social anxiety disorder, with a percentage of 12.1. Now, causes of anxiety disorders vary. Genetics has a very big impact on anxiety. So if a person has a family member with an anxiety disorder, then they're at a very high risk of having that same anxiety disorder in the future. According to this visual, 18% of Americans are struggling with anxiety. However, women are 60% more likely than men to have an anxiety disorder in their lives. Another factor that contributes to anxiety would be environmental factors. Environmental factors means that this is whenever a person is surrounded by stress, and these people or situations are like going to school or going to work. Another factor that isn't too common is a medication side effect. Medications are sometimes curing one medical condition, but they can also trigger other medical conditions, in this case being anxiety. According to Medical News Today, a person may respond to stress at work by taking alcohol or illicit substances that causes their anxiety levels to increase, or their complications in the future are at risk too. This means that there is an environmental factor and a medical factor contributing to their high anxiety levels. Symptoms of anxiety disorders can be categorized into 3 groups: physical, behavioral, and psychosocial. According to the Valley Behavioral Health System, 8% of teens that are from ages 10 to 18 have been starting their symptoms whenever they are 6 years old. Physical symptoms to look out for would be shortness of breath, constant headaches, or changing habits in their eating and sleeping habits. Behavioral symptoms to look out for would be whenever a person isolates themselves or withdraws themselves from the person or situation that is causing too much stress. According to this visual here, this shows a lady in the red dress that is having major symptoms whenever she's talking to another person. You can clearly see that she has sweat running down her face and that she is holding her stomach as if she is feeling nauseous. Other symptoms to look out for are psychosocial symptoms. This is whenever there are mood swings or the feelings and thoughts of not being worthy enough or not being needed enough. It may be easy to talk about anxiety disorders, but I have a high doubt that it is easy to deal with. Therefore, it is important to know that it is useful to look up the symptoms. That way you can also know treatments and aids to help those symptoms and not make them worse. Thank you.